Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Vince McSham with you here, and we're here to talk about the WWE Day 1 WrestleMania. All right, well, this was one that I think we all knew was going to be a little bit interesting, definitely different with the no live audience thing. That was going to be a challenge, and in some ways it was. But that said, there were other areas that they really did well in, and you could even say knocked it out of the park at some points in time. So we're going to talk about, and we're going to keep it relatively brief. I want to keep this 30 minutes or less. But you guys chime in, and I will incorporate whatever feedback you have or opinions you have regarding the show. I'm going to presume you all saw it. If you didn't, you might want to turn away if you're planning on seeing it, because we're going to be going over all the spoilers, which by now you've probably heard most of them anyway, but here we go. So we kick things off with Cesaro going up against Drew Gulak, and I thought it was a good match. It was as good as it could be with no live audience. How's that? So there were moments that were better than others in it, but for me, I did enjoy the setup to the pinfall, which was a hands-free. And I hadn't seen this before. Maybe he does this all the time, but I don't watch today's product very often, so what do I know? But he did a hands-free airplane spin, and I thought that was pretty damn impressive, to be honest with you. As we take a quick look at it right there. All right. I'm trying some new stuff here with my settings as well, so bear with me if things are less than stellar. So anyway, Cesaro happily does go over and get the win in that match. And again, with no crowd there, it was just as good as it could be. You know, I didn't feel any particular, I don't know. It just didn't do more than average for me. But that's what I could say about all these matches we've been seeing between AEW and the WWE with no audience in there. It's just too much to give up. All right, from there we go on to the ladies, the tag team division. And we've got the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki trying to regain the tag team titles from the Kabuki Warriors. And as predicted on my run of the WWE WrestleMania that I did earlier this week, we've got brand new tag team champions. I kind of felt like you had to go that route, especially under the circumstances, and they did. It was, again, I thought, a decent match. It was as good as it could be. Bliss spent a lot of time not in the match, which almost begs the question, is there another injury issue that we're not necessarily aware of? But I thought it was done pretty well. I thought the finish was solid. Again, every match that I watched, I kept thinking to myself, what would that have been like in front of 70,000? You know, how big a pop would this have gotten? How much more impressive would this match have felt with that full stadium behind it? That said, I give full marks to all the performers on the night, because you would not have necessarily known they were playing in front of no audience. They really brought it. I thought there was a lot of A-game action. It's just hard to do what you do as a professional wrestler, especially a WWE superstar, when you're doing it in front of nobody. That's a tough act right there. All right, following that, we had the 24/7 thing with Rob Gronkowski. I'm not even going to really address that. It was stupid. It's 24/7. Not a whole lot about that I really give a rat's rear end about. That said, we move on to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of either. So I kind of skipped through the match a little bit. I can't give it a fair evaluation. I can tell you that the ending was pretty impressive. I did see that, and you know what? God bless you, Kevin Owens. You got guts, man. Kevin Owens coming off the top of the WrestleMania freaking sign and just putting his body on the line in a big way. And more power to him. You know, it was a hell of a move. It was impressive, to say the least, and he pulled it off. So there's that. And he gets the win over Seth Rollins. We go on to one of the matches that I was actually looking forward to, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I was underwhelmed. Disappointingly underwhelmed. I really thought we were going to get a little bit more out of this one than we did, more bang for the buck than we did. But it is what it is sometimes. So you've got the title on the line. Becky Lynch going up against Shayna Baszler. I was not necessarily bummed out about Shayna getting the win, or excuse me, about Becky getting the win over Shayna. It was the how it happened thing. I just thought it was not handled well at all. It was a very 1980s finish, and they spent way too much time building Baszler up. If Becky's going to win, you got to do it in a way that keeps Baszler looking strong, and I don't feel like they did that. Not at all. So for that reason alone, I just got to say, not a huge fan of the outcome there. But what do I know? All right, on to another match. We had the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Always one of my favorite titles. I kind of like the new belt. You know, I'm a traditionalist at heart, and I kind of like the fact that we've been sticking with the belt that's been around for so many years, going back to the Ultimate Warrior and to the Macho Man. Actually, Macho Man was the first guy that brought that belt, pretty much the same belt, on board after he beat Steamboat. Or not Steamboat, but after he beat Tito Santana. All right, take it back. Didn't Tito bring that belt on after Valentine destroyed the green one? Yeah, I think Tito actually brought that belt out, so I stand corrected. But anyway, I like the fact that they've been keeping that around through the Ultimate Warrior, through Edge, all that stuff, and pretty much sticking with it. They did do the round one during the Attitude Era, but then they're back to the old stuff. Anyway, this new one's pretty clean looking belt, and I like it. And the match itself was all right. DB had some good stuff in it. The ending, yeah, I'm okay with the ending. The haluva kick coming off the ropes. It was realistic enough. It was well done. We had some good stuff in there with the outside interference. Daniel with the dive through the ropes. And again, it's a live match. Well, in the sense that it was taped live with no audience. And it can only be so good when you're doing that. You just give up way too much without an audience. All right, we also had the tag team titles on the line. Only thing is we didn't have tag teams. So due to The Miz and his current under the weatherness, which, God, I kind of hope is just nothing other than a common cold, or allergies would be better, they had to basically turn it into a one-on-one three-way match, and they still salvaged it. For a ladder match, it was solid, had the high spots that you expect in a ladder match, and the ending was absolutely perfect. I thought the ending was great. And they did something that we hadn't seen before. And there was a lot of drama leading up to that last moment. So for all those reasons, I was really happy with that match. And I think the guys did as good as you can do under the circumstances. I think the performers, again, really stepped up their game under the circumstances. You know, knowing they had to do what they had to do with what they had to do it with. I don't know how much else you can add. All right, from there, where am I at here? Losing my place. Let's see, we have the tag team titles, Intercontinental title. Like I said, that 24/7. Seth Rollins. I've just never been a Seth Rollins fan. Anyone that's watched knows that. And that leads us up. Oh, my God. Yeah, how about it? I don't think anybody thought that it wouldn't be a train wreck. But maybe a hope that... Here's what I can't get over. It's pre-recorded and edited. They could have made this a real match. I mean, there's no gassing out because, hey, you need to take a 5-minute break ahead and we'll start running film again. And it was still terrible. It was like each guy only did one move multiple times, and it was over in like 2 minutes. Braun Strowman, your new WWE champion. Beg your pardon. It was that bad. And that leads us to the main event of the evening, the Boneyard match. I had said last week heading into Mania that I really hope, since they're not going to have a live audience, they get theatrical. You know, forget wrestling. Do something that's theatrical. Make it bigger, better. And damn it, with this match, that is exactly what I was talking about. I wish they would have done it with every match, or at least most of them. And yeah, the Firefly Funhouse match ought to be freaking off the chart based on this one. Undertaker and AJ, it was amazing. A lot of people saying it felt like a movie. No, this felt better because most movies are not good. This was amazing. And watching Taker do his thing, especially in the first couple of minutes, just beating the shit out of AJ. I kept thinking, man, he needs to get a spot on Walking Dead as a supervillain. It had that whole vibe to it. You know, imagine if he got the role of Negan back in the day. How different would that be? I mean, Taker, and when you book Taker like this in a movie kind of thing, guess what? You got some matches left in him. He doesn't have to take real bumps, and even the bumps he takes can be theatrical bumps, so you don't actually see him hit the floor or anything like that, because there'll be a pad there to break his fall, and then the camera just cuts to it after the fact. You can do a lot more with Taker with this style, and it was so freaking good. For me, one of the big moments was when AJ gets on that tractor and all of a sudden the lighting comes up in the background and Taker's behind him, and it was everything I could have asked for and then some. It clearly stole the show and has set the bar for some nice stuff. The ending was spot on perfect. He drives away, the house in the background, the cabin, whatever the hell it is, farmhouse, starts to light up with the Undertaker symbol. It was awesome. His entrance, I forget which rock song he came out to, classic rock song, he driving up on the motorcycle. Everything about it was done so well. And this is what I was talking about last week. As much as this whole, coronavirus thing is affecting everything, it's affecting wrestling, all sports, our daily lives right now, we're going to get past it eventually. We're going to get back to some level of normal, I hope to God. But wrestling is going to have to change because they've learned from that, and they're doing stuff like this now. And I have a funny feeling that as we move forward, we're going to see that the WWE in particular is going to say, hey, this has been really well received, and it was great. And it was. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This was an amazing performance by everyone involved, and I think we're going to see them do a lot more of this kind of stuff in the future, and it's great for character development. It all across the board. It was just so great, that last match. So I am looking forward to seeing some more of that tonight, I hope. All right, guys, I told you I was going to keep this one short, and don't see too much going on in the comments category, but that's cool. I just wanted to do a quick recap, my thoughts on it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you watching after the live stream, feel free to put your comments down below. Share, like, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you at ringside.